IVM.
Hello and welcome to Football Twaddle. My name is Saru. We had an accident last week where we recorded an entire episode and we couldn't hear my voice or our guest voice or Yash's voice or pretty much anyone's voice, right? So we had to basically scrap that episode, but now we are back and we haven't really changed much technologically. We're just praying that this works fine. All right, Yash, what's up?
Hey,
And the
feels
guest,
like a big break now.
yeah, and the guest we had last week is back this week. Manav.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Dude, I mean, to me, you are. Tomorrow when the recording goes, we'll find out if you're actually audible.
Yeah, that's what I'm praying for.
Alrighty, guys, let's start talking about everything that's happened for 2 weeks. We can fluidly interchange topics, but the one constant is that Manchester United is going to win the Champions League and the Premier League. So who wants to tackle this subject first?
Manav.
Yeah, so Man United, so they've done pretty well in the 2 games after the international break, one away against Newcastle and away at Paris as well. But again, when these were again away games, and when the next game, which was Chelsea this Saturday, it was a 0-0 draw, pretty boring match. It had just one shot on target in the entire second half. That also came in stoppage time. Chelsea had only one shot on target the entire match. So, of course, it was a very boring match. And after the highs of winning against Newcastle and Paris, it was a pretty low performance. And you could see that neither of the sides wanted to commit a mistake, and they were just hoping if the other one makes a mistake.
Isn't that the performance of a champions team when they know they want a result and they'll do anything to get that result?
Yeah, they wanted a draw and they got it. Both the teams.
I think Lampard betrayed us by not playing the Nepo kids.
And Kepa.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone have we mentioned Nepo kids as a term on this podcast before?
I don't know. I mean, it's become such a common parlance in our lives that we assume our listeners get it.
Yeah, but the Patrice Evra was a pundit. I don't even know why Sky is paying him money anymore because all he does is just tear up my contract 1 week. Next week he says, "Oh God, that was such a boring game." It's like there's no pretense of even trying to hold people back to watch the second half of the game.
No, but this is what sells these days, right? Authenticity. I mean, everyone was the general viewer was complaining that punditry has become too sanitized. It was okay 10 years ago when we didn't have technology to voice our opinions and we just went along with what those pundits said. And of course, now that we have the technology, there are people like us giving our opinions, which are frankly much better than the sanitized opinions in those studios.
Yeah.
So therefore, they have to get someone like Evra who will say all sorts of crazy things, and maybe there's some truth in there, maybe there's some exaggerations, but it's a lot of fun.
Is that why TalkSport got Troy Deeney as their new signing? So they have Troy Deeney and they have this guy, Gabby Agbonahor. Remember that guy?
Yeah. You can take these guys out of the Premier League, but not Premier League out of these guys.
So Agbonahor basically made a comment against Leeds or something right before the Aston Villa Leeds game, and Leeds obviously won that game 3-0 with a ex-Nepo kid scoring a hat-trick. So all the Leeds fans basically piled onto him on Twitter, and his reply is like, "Oh God, is your club so petty that they can't even take a tweet in good sport?" But on a side note, doesn't Manav look a little like Shebi Singh now?
Yeah, he's getting there. But frankly, from what I remember, Shebi Singh used to be a lot of fun because, again, like I said, his opinions weren't sanitized. He was right out there with his opinions, which often used to turn out right, just randomly, not because he was a great analyst. And then he used to gloat like, "Oh, that's what I said. See, I'm so right."
Yeah. His favorite dialogue was, "Indeed, John, as I said 20 minutes ago." All right. So we were talking back to Manchester United, right? Did you guys look at the photo of Donny van der Beek during the game, looking like, oh, what have I done? Why am I here?
Yeah, it was a... Go ahead, Manav.
Yeah, I think everyone did, and especially, so more than his expression, I think Patrice Evra's post-match comment, why did they sign him, didn't even need him, made more sort of, it went viral on social media more than the reaction. Because Patrice Evra is saying Man United didn't need him, etc., which I frankly don't agree with. Because
you're Chevy Singh. You don't have to agree with Patrice Evra.
And again, just like Chevy Singh, maybe 4 games later I'll come again on the podcast and tell that in that podcast I mentioned that.
Wait, you tried pulling off that stunt in last season.
I've done that. Exactly, I've done that.
Yash, do you think Van der Beek gets all these messages? Every morning he gets a dossier. Today Patrice told us about you. Rio Ferdinand abused you this way. I'm sure he has a team which basically gives him a general update, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was more upset about what these guys are saying rather than being left on the bench. That's where that look came from.
Poor guy, man. Anyway, I'm very happy that Manchester United have moved up the table. They're the 15th on the table right now. It doesn't really... They're still only 4 points. They're 5 points behind or 6 points behind the leaders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been more, man. I mean, that Aston Villa game... Aston Villa were all over Leeds at the starting. Grealish should have scored a couple of times.
Yeah.
And had Aston Villa won that game, they would have been on the top of the table.
Exactly. And Saru, as you were mentioning, I said it on the podcast, which didn't really become a podcast, that I think Aston Villa Leeds was the game to watch out for. Although the scoreline does not suggest, because it suggests a very dominant Leeds side. But if you look at the first half, and until Leeds scored the first goal, it was a very, very good match. And Patrick Bamford had 2 amazing goals, just proper number 9 goals he scored.
Manav, who's a better Nepo kid? Patrick Bamford or Ross Barkley?
Ross Barkley is an Everton kid, no?
Nepo hota hai. Nepo is not associated.
He's an adopted nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. No, Patrick Bamford.
Man, imagine what Chelsea would do to have him as a third striker right now. Oh, so Leeds, I'm looking at the table here. So Leeds are 6th in the table, 6 games, 10 points. I don't know if it comes as a surprise or not, but my God, man, they're the only team which is going to survive from all the clubs that have come up.
Yeah, I mean, I really back West Brom because I just randomly picked them so that I don't have to pick Leeds. But yeah, things are not looking good for them.
Yeah. Manav, who's worse? West Brom or Fulham?
I think Fulham.
And if someone calling you, Manav?
So, yeah. No, I think West Brom is worse. I mean, even though they got 3 goals against Chelsea, but I still think, since West Brom got 3 goals against Chelsea, I think Fulham are worse. And Fulham have done absolutely nothing, man. Lost to Arsenal so badly on the opening day of the season. Then again, I'm not convinced about Fulham and Scott Parker at all.
I think Scott Parker will be fired unless he does a press conference like Daniel Farke of Norwich City. Have you guys had the opportunity to see that blessed event?
No, I haven't.
What are you saying? They asked him about the motivation of Norwich in playing the championship, and then he said it's like you wanting to go out on a date, and then you're asking the girl if she's 18 or 19, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'll make the effort and go out, and then there's Keira Knightley who likes you for who you are, and he just goes on into this amazingly.
So the championship is supposed to be Keira Knightley and the Premier League is supposed to be a barely legal girl.
I think it's the other way around.
Oh.
He's like, you have to put in the effort to go out with like a barely legal girl, but Keira Knightley, so you want to go out, right? So you will do that automatically.
Okay, now I get it.
Oh, dude, that was so embarrassing. I thought,
wow, dude, I mean, someone must have informed him that Keira Knightley is a famous English actress, so Take her name rather than someone from Hollywood, some American from Hollywood.
I know, but the first thing which came to my mind was that, clearly he's seen Bend It Like Beckham. And if he's,
wow, I didn't make that connection. Wow, that's brilliant.
I'm like, if he's seen Bend It Like Beckham, why the do you think of the Indian girl racist?
Oh boy.
Manav, have you watched Bend It Like Beckham?
Yeah, long back.
And what did you make of Anupam Kher being rejected there also? And no one giving him a chance to bowl.
Oh boy.
All right, West Ham United, chaps. David Moyes is turning around that ship. What's going on there? Is he actually a good manager? And he's taken like 7 years to emerge from the scars left by Manchester United.
No, but evidence suggests that they played better when he wasn't there. So I think he's just showing up, phoning it in, and do whatever you guys were doing before. So he's basically a mascot on the sidelines.
Yeah, but they scored those 3 goals against Spurs with him on the sideline. So you can't discount that.
But even a ball boy is on the sidelines. So you can't give the credit of them scoring goals to the ball boy.
Have you seen Jose Mourinho give credit to one particular ball boy?
Yeah, it was in his early matches, and it is there in the documentary as well.
Yeah, he was so nice to someone that a pandemic hit the world. Oh man, but all right, let's talk about some big teams. And so before we take the break, Yash, I think my prediction is coming true. Man City are gone. Man, this year they're a goner. It's over. It's done. The dream is over.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's too soon to tell, man.
Yeah, going to West Ham is never a good result.
Exactly. Let me talk to Manav about this. Yes, Manav. Cool. Continue.
Phil Foden scored a good goal, but otherwise Sterling was so off color. They missed in the latter stages, I don't think they had a striker. Sterling as a striker will not work against every team. It might work once in a while, but it's not going to work out. And of course, Antonio, you have such a huge physical presence inside the box. And then, of course, they conceded in the first half and could never score 2 goals back. So, West Ham deserved a point.
How old does Aguero look now?
Especially after he colored his hair, it makes him look 5 years elder than what he is.
So that already makes him like 40 years old.
Exactly.
Oh man, Manchester City. I'm telling you, yes, mark my words. This season is going to be downfall. Their downfall.
What is downfall for them? Finishing 3rd?
5th.
Oh wow. Okay.
Out of Champions League spaces. And the only reason they may get into Champions League space is because of an injury which has never happened to anyone in the world ever. And a club is acting like Liverpool, with Van Dijk gone. They're acting like, oh my God, like dunya khatam. Dude, have they not seen injuries ever happen to players? What is with this desperate acting? Why is everything with that club so desperate?
No, I think their ex-players who've got injured and were out for a long time must be feeling so shit right now that, man, I was injured out for ages. Really, to aisa kuch nahi kiya. They just abused me saying you're useless.
Jibril Cisse. He broke his leg. Like his leg broke into 2. And then for one day they said, get well, Jibril. And then they sold him the next year or something. Okay, I get it. Manav, I get it. A big player is injured. But oh my God, what's with the drama around it? Why? Okay, other teams also. I remember there was a season where Bournemouth players, 3 of them got ACL injuries.
Yeah.
One of the seasons where they were just promoted. Callum Wilson had one. And I think when Josh King suffered. So such caliber players for Bournemouth had injuries. Even they didn't make a big deal about it. Is Jurgen Klopp kind of losing the plot? He abused Carragher also.
Yeah. But I think more than Jurgen Klopp, it's just the fan base. And I don't know. Everyone is just exaggerated. You look at Memphis Depay, he scored for Lyon and then he's taking his shirt off for with you, Virgil, or something like that. Does not make any sense.
Oh, he did that.
And it's just that, see, very honestly, you look Liverpool over the last 2-3 seasons, you have to understand that there has not been a long-term injury in the last 2-3 years for Liverpool, especially to one of the marquee players. Salah has been available throughout the season, pretty much. Firmino and the wing-backs, Mane, everyone, all the major players.
What do you think? The way Firmino's playing, he's not available for like 7 months of a season.
I know, and that's a different discussion altogether, but it's just that they're out of it. Well, they're not used to it, the Liverpool people. So
simply what it means that for an impact sport, it was just, just by law of averages, they should have had a big injury by now.
Yeah. Like Abu Dhabi is still injured for Arsenal, even now. He's in like the 24th year of his contract. All right, I think we should take a break right now. And after the break, I don't know, there are like other games to talk about. So let's do that. Stay tuned to Football Twaddle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome, amazing, superb week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. What a week we had this week. We had so much crossover, so many great guests. I don't even know where to start. Okay, yeah, I do know where to start. Let's start with Uncle Please Sit. Uncle Please Sit, Joel and Tushar had Hamsini Hariharan. Hamsini hosts a show called States of Anarchy with their network. She is a China expert, and they discussed the India-China relationship. Really fascinating conversation. Cyrus had 2 conversations this week instead of our normal Thursday Cock and Bull. Great conversations, both of them. We'll be back with our regular Cock and Bull next week. But this week, you could definitely check out the conversation he had with Varun Grover. Really fascinating stuff. And Nikhil Taneja, who was the founder of Yuva and the creative director for the India Film Project Festival, which is going on this weekend. He was on the show as well. Cyrus was also on Advertising is Dead this weekend with Varun Dugirala. Cyrus and Varun discussed Cyrus's intent on randomness. Ranveer Brar guested on Gauri Devi Dayal show. This rounds on me. Another amazing conversation over there. Priyanka Khimani, one of the best IP lawyers in this country, was on Storytellers and Storysellers for a fascinating conversation. Definitely do check that out. And finally, I wanted to congratulate Zarina Poonawala for her 100th episode. She had Ashish Vidyarthi as a guest on that. If you have not been listening to the Empowering series, please do. It's one of the great shows out there. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Welcome back to Football Twaddle. Manav, Everton lost.
Yeah.
Are you happy whenever a team in blue loses, or you don't give a shit?
Yeah, they had it coming.
They had it coming. What are you, a goon?
It was not sustainable. Such highs of. They can have a Leicester season. I'm not denying them. Still might win the league, but being unbeaten, it was going to end at some point of time.
Abhi, they were unbeaten for 4 games. I'm sure they can be unbeaten for that long. When you compare it to other teams, since they and Aston Villa were the only 2 teams who had like 100% record before the Merseyside derby. So it had to come at some point of time. And what I'm referring to is the game against Liverpool. They almost lost it in the end with Pickford a couple of weeks back. So they had it coming, and it just happened that it was Southampton. It was a convincing win for Southampton. They deserved to win it. Okay, there are 2 things, Yash. And since you're an amazing fantasy player, football player, and I've seen your score, what can Danny Ings and Che Adams work together?
In fantasy or in real life?
Dude, in real life, they're killing it. I'm talking about in fantasy.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure you can make space for them if you want to have a very differential week, but I wouldn't suggest taking 2 Southampton players. That's just pushing your luck.
All right. The next question I have is Ralph Hasenhüttl the manager to succeed at Manchester United after Ole Gunnar?
What? No.
Why, dude?
But that's really setting your sights low, right? It's not like he's a formal player. I would have thought about it if he was.
What do you mean? He's such a good manager. Why?
Yeah, but even Moyes was a good mid-table manager.
So who do you want? So who would succeed Ole?
Since everybody is screaming his name, it's going to be Pochettino unless he gets appointed somewhere else.
So even he was a good mid-table manager only, no?
He was higher mid-table, no? Second place and whatnot.
The Champions League final.
We all know what a fluke that was. All right, let's talk about his former club, Spurs. And now people are saying they could win it this year. And then they're having like Hajar caveats. One is that this is like such a weird season. Reason number 2 is Virgil van Dijk is injured. Now Virgil van Dijk's injury is deciding if Spurs are going to win the league, right? And the third one is anything can happen this season. A team with a bit of momentum. And the fourth reason is Gareth Bale is coming to form. And once he comes to form, that is going to be devastating.
You're just making this up. Nobody's saying Gareth Bale is going to get into form.
I can send you Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher's exclusive conversation on Monday Night Football.
But that just proves that that's not going to happen. No.
All right. But the main reason, Yash, is the top scorer in Premier League is Son with 8 goals. The top assist giver in Premier League is Harry Kane with 8 goals. Those two guys have combined. They're like Ram Lakhan now.
Yeah, maybe Spurs are going to have... I mean, why aren't people calling it a Leicester season for Spurs? They are a small team. They are really dependent on these two players like Mahrez and Vardy. Or like Leicester were dependent on Mahrez and Vardy. And they're giving a lot of assists to each other and scoring goals for fun.
I will tell you, you've been in the media, but I don't know why you don't get nuances. if they call Spurs a small team, then they have to say Poch was managing a small team and he doesn't have experience to manage a big team. And he won't get the United job when Ole is fired. Dude.
Wow.
But Manav, do you think only because of Harry Kane and Son, Spurs are like one of the contenders for the Premier League?
Figure their defense out. I mean, the centre backs, although Toby and Dare are their first choice, but they're not doing good enough. I think yesterday was their first clean sheet of the Premier League season.
Of the Premier League season, yes, it was.
And that also was not a convincing victory. Let's be honest. They got the goal of a corner. Burnley did trouble them, not trouble Lloris, but did reach the box as such. So. I mean, if they figure out the centre backs, I think they can have a really solid season. And you already know my prediction. I really think that Spurs will win at least one trophy this year.
Yeah, but one of the things was, first of all, I think Eric Dyer is one of the centre backs. He is going to be furniture in that team. He's like Mourinho's long lost son. And if you've seen the documentary, he suddenly starts talking to Dyer in Portuguese.
Yeah.
I was surprised, but Dyer actually remembers Portuguese still. There was a point in yesterday's game where Mourinho was giving instructions to Carlos Vinicius.
Yeah.
And Dyer basically, tries to clear a ball, but hits the hand of a Burnley player when he kicks the ball.
Right.
And Chris Wood. And Mourinho charges and screams at Dyer. Uske baad, Dyer did not make one mistake. For 35 minutes, he was petrified. Man, I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to win the league this season.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield, people are not talking about it, but Højbjerg is, I think, the most value for money signing this season.
No, I thought it was going to be Reguilon, but okay.
No, it's not. So Reguilon is still young, not proven. I think Højbjerg has experience in the Premier League and he's coming from a good academy. He's a Bayern Academy player. And I mean, he's been running the show for Spurs this season. Even that Manchester United game, people have only talked about how poor were Man United and how poor was Harry Maguire that game. I think Spurs midfield was running the show that day, especially Højbjerg. And this is even before Martial got sent off.
Yeah. Oh, talking about Harry Maguire. I mean, point well taken, Manav. But talking about Harry Maguire, Yash, did you see the bear hug given to Azpilicueta?
Yeah, well... I think this is the little bit of luck Harry Maguire needed to get out of the rut he was in.
Wow. You have nothing to comment on how horrible the refereeing is, about how useless VAR is.
But we have spoken about all of that before. What's new? It was not like Chelsea were, pressing Man United a lot and they just needed that little bit of good refereeing to win the game. It was a pretty boring game. And
I know, but that is the games they need that refereeing.
Yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't say that that really... I mean, that like Chelsea deserve to win or something,
Oh, no. I mean...
People will forget about this moment immediately, given how horrible VAR has generally been.
And Saru, Maguire seems to be having some sort of luck with the referees in the Chelsea fixture, especially. If you remember last year at Stamford Bridge, he straightened his leg on Rudiger, I think it was, and got away with it and scored a winning header in that goal again at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I saw a meme where Maguire basically held Greek police in the same headlock he held Aspilicueta, and that's why he's in jail. Anyway, that's that. Let's see what else happened before we move to the fixtures of this weekend. Oh, one of
I
the
think
new.
there were some pretty interesting results in the Champions League last week. Yeah.
Man, before we get that, look at the headline. Lampard still scratching head to find best formula.
What? Best?
Formula.
Okay.
Like what's the Nepo to actual footballer ratio? That formula. All right, Manav, Champions League.
Yeah.
Can we just not talk about Manchester United, PSG, and any other game you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I think we can talk about Liverpool, Ajax, and also Real Madrid and Shakhtar.
What happened to Liverpool Ajax? I don't even remember.
Liverpool managed to win 1-0 due to a Tagliafico on goal.
Did the entire stadium put up a sign, "We are with you, VVD"?
No, I don't think there was any audience. There were no spectators.
Okay. I don't know, but how tough is Liverpool's group? Who are in their group?
No one, man.
Atlanta is there, no?
Yeah, but I mean, Liverpool will take these teams out easy. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, we had hopes on the first game because I think so. Interesting thing happened in that game was that they were 1-0 up in halftime, and around 55-60 minutes, Jurgen Klopp took all the three strikers off. Mane, Salah, and Firmino came off just at once. On went Diogo Jota and Minamino and another player. So that was pretty surprising for me. So I was just hoping Ajax will push further. Did get Huntelaar on for the last 20 minutes or so. But nothing really happened. They had one or two close shaves, but again.
Man, first of all, I get confused between this Minamino and Mimiso, which I'm like, what the is that? All right. Yes, do you know the interesting that happened with the Real Madrid game?
No, dude.
I'll tell you. They played Shakhtar, and Shakhtar had like 10 players for 10 first teamers with COVID positive, so they couldn't play. They're like, Abhi kisko khilaye? Then they found like Butler's son and everyone. They cobbled a team together and they said, go beat Real Madrid, children. And those guys destroyed Real Madrid in the first half. I think they took a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, it was 3-0 at halftime.
Man, if basically like Butler's sons and Cobbler's sons can do
they
that.
The Ukrainian film industry should make a movie just on this match.
9 brave souls.
Yeah.
So the only question I have, Yash, is if unexperienced, useless boys can beat Real Madrid, why can't Messi?
I guess Barca didn't take the message that was being sent by the Ukrainians to them, that don't be predictable, just play random people, because football has become so formulaic right now that so long as such a big change happens in front of you, you don't know how to face it.
Yeah, actually that may be true, no? Because of the amount of analytics and everything. If you just like if you actually play like 2 strikers.
Yeah, mystery players, mystery formation, mystery this and that.
Dude, that's going to be so cool. Imagine Mourinho puts a team out of like Lucas Moura, Gareth Bale, Harry Kane, Son.
Harry Kane centre back.
Yeah. Harry Kane is such a good centre back.
He's doing a fabulous job defensively.
That's going to be Manchester United marquee defensive signing next season. 200 mil for a centre back, Harry Kane. Alrighty, guys, we are going on for too long. Let's do this. What are your games to watch this weekend?
I think there's United versus Arsenal, so that definitely takes the limelight.
Are you not scared that match is going to be another boring 0-0 draw?
No, I doubt it. It's Arteta, and he barely.
He barely attacks.
Because last week everyone was saying that these two teams don't know how to defend. It's going to be a goal fest, and it didn't turn out like that.
Exactly.
So they learned defending. So now what's your prediction for that game?
It's a gradual process, Saru. I mean, United were losing the first few games at home. Now they've drawn one. Now they'll win the match.
So what's your prediction, Manav, for United Arsenal?
For Arsenal, I think United will manage a 2-0 or a 2-1 win.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Just to humor me, who are the goal scorers?
I think Cavani might start against Arsenal.
Oh, did you see Cavani's first touch?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I
think Thiago Silva did well too. Good positional presence of mind by Thiago Silva.
I don't know what are United's needs and everything, but dude, Cavani is such a superstar player. There's no denying that. Like, who are the biggest stars of United Football Club right now? Cavani, Bruno, Pogba.
Yeah, that's there.
And Rashford, like, for all the children who need food. So,
yeah, Ibrahimovic had a positive impact on other players' performance as well. So we're just hoping that happens. If Cavani can get, if not 20, say 12-15 goals in the season, and he can also push Martial and Rashford to score a bit more.
I hope he pushes Martial out of the club. I think Martial United ka shani hai. वो जब निकल जाएगा, then it'll do well. Yash, what's your game for the weekend?
It's obviously Fulham versus West Brom.
What?
The battle of the cellar dwellers.
Oh, dude. Oh, God.
We're gonna see who's gonna be worse.
And you're going to be rooting for West Brom?
Yes.
What time is that game?
It's on Sunday at 11 here, India time.
Sunday night?
That's the only game on... Yes, that's Sunday.
Oh shit, if it was
that's the only Sunday game.
If it was Saturday night, we could have watched it together.
I think there's another game, Leeds versus Leicester.
That's
on Monday night.
So I'm talking for this game week.
No, it's Sunday late night. It's Monday early morning.
But dude, nothing can beat Fulham West Brom, even United Arsenal. Both the teams, let's look at the table to see how desperate those teams are. So Fulham are 6 games and 1 point. I don't even know how did they get this point, but sure.
Even I'm surprised.
West Brom are 5 games and 1 point, right? And
West Brom is 6 game 3.
And their form table, guys, this is... West Brom is 6 games and 3 points. I was looking at Burnley. So this match is very important for Scott Parker's life.
Life direct.
Yeah. The amount of crying he did after getting Fulham through to Premier League. It's been hard on my family. It's not often spoken about how hard it is for them. People are well done, Scott, for speaking out. And now they're obviously going to fire him very soon.
Oh, man.
What's your prediction for that game?
High scoring 3-3 draw, dude.
Dude, no way. Have you seen West Brom? They can't score.
I'm sure Fulham guys will score own goals for them.
Other than Chelsea, West Brom can't score.
I think they were think of scoring against London teams. So I think West Brom will win that game.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how it goes. Manav, thanks a lot for coming in. And you should come back next month so that you can point out what I said the last time. It's come true.
Sure, definitely.
And Yash, see you next week, man.
See you, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
पेश खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday. सिर्फ IVM podcast ऐप या वेबसाइट पर या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are 2 passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset and everything sport.
So tune in to The Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.